So hi, Bailey. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you on. So how have things been going so far?
Things have been going really good. I actually had 3 music videos in one weekend, which was really crazy. Just been working a lot, trying to work out for the summer, but that never really works out. So yeah, busy, staying busy.
Awesome. I feel you on the working out thing.
I know. It's like I get so motivated. I see people on TikTok. I'm obsessed with TikTok.
Yeah.
I see these like really fit girls. I'm like, damn, I want to look like that, but it's not happening. I like going out to eat too much. It won't happen.
Yeah, I know. You gotta pick your priorities.
Exactly.
See, it's hard for me. My brother's a personal trainer, and like I live with him, so like I'm
Oh my
around
God.
fitness all the time, but I try. But anyway, so let's get right into it. I really love the grit and soulfulness of your music and your voice. It's so good and super cool. So what made you get into music in the first place?
I always had a love for music. Everyone in my family, I don't usually say this, but everyone in my family are teachers or basically teachers. Everyone in my family are teachers. So I wasn't really ever introduced to like the idea of being an artist for a long, long time. And I didn't know it was something I could do, but I knew that I loved music. And from the time I was like 11, I would be in my room. I would come home from school and listen to music the entire night. It didn't matter what it was. And I would sing and sing and sing. And eventually my parents were like, noticing my love for music. And so I tried out for my school's talent show and I got in. And I remember being so nervous. I'm a nervous person as is. And I did the show and they were like, okay, you have something cool. You have a really unique voice. Let's do something with it. And we made a little EP. It had Patsy Cline's Crazy, Leanne Rimes' Blue, and an opera song because I'm operatically trained. And I took it to Nashville, took it to every record label possible with no recognition whatsoever, nothing under my belt. But I was like, I love music. Met a lot of people and kind of started to build my team. And that's how I got into music. And looking back, without my parents, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But it's a cool story for sure.
Awesome. So what made you get into like country music specifically?
So I listened to Patsy Cline's Crazy and I just fell in love with her voice. I fell in love with her story after that, but her voice is what captivated me and the way she could make you feel exactly what she was feeling. And she was the person who really made me get into country music. My dad was a huge Johnny Cash fan, would play it in the car when I was like 6 or 7. So I knew Walk the Line and Folsom Prison Blues. And my mom loved Travis Tritt and like kind of more 90s country. And so I was always around it. And that's what made me get into country music. Eventually I ventured into other genres, but I always had a love for country music.
Awesome. Yeah, you gotta love that 90s country too. It's so good.
She loves Travis. Like that's one of her favorites.
Yeah.
So
It was a good era.
it was.
So you're, as you said, you're operatically trained. So
Mm-hmm.
like, how did that come about? That makes sense.
It was really interesting. We were just looking for a vocal coach because we were told I needed one. And I'm glad that they told us that at a young age. And so she was the one person in my small town in Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Levittown, Pennsylvania, but I moved to Percy, which is like an hour away. And she was in this little town, and she was a world-renowned opera singer who had just like stopped because she had gotten too old, and now she was doing lessons outside of her home. And so she taught me a lot about how to use my voice. Opera is a really one of the hardest genres to sing, and opera singers are like top tier. There's all the other singers and then there's opera singers.
Yeah.
Their technique is just so amazing. And I give a lot of how my voice sounds today and the soulfulness and how I can jump up and down and be real big. I contribute that to her because she taught me everything that I knew.
Oh, that's awesome. I love how you've taken that opera and kind of added it into like blues and country, because it really does come across. Your voice is so good and you really hear the emotion in your voice, which is like, oh, so good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think her name was Deanna Reed. She toured with Pavarotti, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it was like that. And looking back, I would do anything to go back to those days just because they were so simple, and I learned so much from her, especially about emotion. If I wasn't singing with emotion, she would make me snap right back into it. So.
Well, it works, so
Yeah.
So let's get into some of your music. So you picked three of your own songs and 3 songs that have inspired or influenced you in some way. And the first one you have for us is called Finally Free, which was released last year. And it was featured as the Grand Ole Opry, the Circle Song of the Week, which is super cool. And it was in the top 50 of the Billboard Country Indicator Charts, which is very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's the story behind that song?
So it was originally influenced by a breakup. The day of that write, I was going to write with Nolan Neal and John Allen Miller, who are 2 of my favorite people ever. But I'd never written with Nolan before, and I hate writing with new people. I'm very awkward and shy as a person, which most people don't expect because they see me on Instagram. They're like, this flamboyant freaking lady, but I'm really not. And so I was super nervous. I was having a mental breakdown because I just gone through a breakup. I was literally sobbing on the way there, and my dad was with me, and he's like, get it together. Like, you have to go to this right. You can't cancel. So I did it, and I got Finally Free out of it. And Nolan became one of the people I write with the most just because he's so amazing. So it's my favorite song I've ever written. And as time has progressed, I think it has become more of a song for me. In my mental health journey, I struggle with my mental health a lot, and I'm very open about that and transparent. And Finally Free is about finding myself and finding, ways to cope with it, more than a breakup anymore, because I could care less about the guy I wrote it about.
Oh, I love that. And you also did a movement called Finally Free about mental health and all that stuff. That was kind of
I started the movement last summer, early fall. And I also have a podcast for it, which I will be releasing new episodes. And it's just, I feel like on social media, you always see like the highlight reel of everyone's lives. And that was getting to be really toxic for me because I want to be open with people, and I want to be able to be myself. And I've had people in the industry tell me, you can't talk about your mental health. You can't be a human. Basically, you have to be a robot and be on all the time. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I lost my brother to suicide. So mental health is incredibly important to me. And I just want other people, I think the movement, I made it to help other people know they're not alone.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love that you're doing that. And it's such a great way to help people, and like through your music and through your personality and who you are, because that's what people connect to. And I think you do a really good job of that. So
thank you.
Well, let's get to that song. So here is Finally Free. So how did you get into songwriting?
So I was not a great songwriter when I was younger. And everyone was like, just do this and just do that, and it'll be so easy. And it never clicked for me. I would go to co-writes, and I would sit there the whole time like this. Just like, because they made it look so easy. And as I got older, I realized it was because I had nothing to write about. I was like 12, 13. What am I going to write about? That's like meaningful, middle school romance. I didn't get into writing until after my first breakup, because that's when the feelings started to flow. And I think I can only write off of things that have genuinely happened to me or feelings that I've genuinely felt. So when life happens, I write, and that's kind of how I got into songwriting. I got into it a little later than a lot of people, just because I wasn't going to write songs about middle school. It just wasn't going to happen.
But
I did write songs about middle school. I have a whole EP, if anyone wants to go listen, full of little schoolyard tunes, but
that's funny.
I didn't write most of them. So.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're also a member of the Song Suffragettes in Nashville, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what they do and what it's all about?
Yeah, so it is a all-female round kind of movement even in Nashville. It happens at the Listening Room. One of my best musical friends, Mia Morris, who I actually made a song with, she does cajon there, and she's there almost every week. But they're amazing. I had to try out, and I was super nervous. I don't usually have to try out, and I was like, oh, this is fancy. But every time I'm there, it's amazing. It's always a sold out, and they just support women in country music and even women outside of country music. I've heard a lot of different genres there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's really cool what they're doing. And you're living in Nashville now, right?
I am living in Nashville, yeah.
When did you make that move?
I was 15, almost 16, just going into high school. So I had to start out at a brand new high school. And I got homeschooled like a month later.
Oh, no.
I met people I liked. I just couldn't do it. It was a really stressful time when we moved here. So I couldn't do it. Yeah, I love Tennessee. It feels like home.
Nice. Well, let's get to some more music. I really like the songs that you picked that like aren't your songs. Like, I like your songs too, but the other songs that you I didn't like that. But yeah.
I love it.
So the next song you have for us is Too High to Cry by Cole Wetzel. So what made you pick this song?
I love Cole Wetzel. And the first time I heard that song, I had never listened to him before. And he kind of has like this yearny yodel, like old school country voice, and he doesn't really care about mainstream, which is what I like about him the most. He does what he wants, and he's unapologetic about it. And he looks like the Post Malone of country. So it's hilarious to me. But he's coming to Tennessee soon, and the tickets are only $30. And I'm like, I'm going. Yeah. So I just think he's cool more than anything. But that song's amazing.
Yeah, he is very cool. And I hope you have a good time at that show.
Thank you.
I would love to go, but so here is Too High to Cry by Cole Wetzel. So you got a golden ticket on American Idol in 2019.
I did, yeah.
What was that experience like?
I always tell people I don't remember half of it because my adrenaline was just like soaring.
Yeah.
It was super cool. So I actually went to the cattle call, is what they call it. Like we're freaking cows. But no, there's a bunch of people there. I went to the one in West Virginia, so it probably wasn't as long of a line. But it was at least over 1,000 people. You stand in line, you wait for your turn. There's about 5 of you. You all sing in a line. And if they like you, they'll bring you back. And there's about 4 different judging rounds in between actually meeting the judges. And it's just like executive producers. So once I got through all that, I got to meet the judges, which was Katie and Lionel and Luke. And I got 2 yeses from Lionel and Katie, but they also told me I needed to do blues, that my voice was for blues. And at the time I was like, no, but now I see it. Yeah. Luke said no, and he was the like only country artist. So I was like, thanks, Luke. But I told him he would regret it as I was walking out the door. I was like, you'll regret this. But I just remember it was such a good experience, and I learned so much, and I met a lot of amazing people. I got to go to California, had never been on a plane in my life. So it was just a really amazing experience, and Lionel and Katie were right. So that's
really cool. I love how you got to like see them, like the actual judge.
It's so crazy. I was like, is this real? Like I looked at them and I was like, that's not Katie. It's impossible. They look like superstars. So it's cool.
Well, you gotta go show up Luke Bryan, so
I know. Yep. Well, that's easy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't come for me, Luke.
That's all right. All right. Awesome. So what does country music mean to you?
Country music to me means a lot. It's kind of a part of my family. My mom's dad was a huge country music fan, and I remember my grandma said that when she met him, she hated his style of music. And when they went on their first date or something, he came in his car and he was like playing Hank Williams, and she's like, God, I hate country music. So it's like just very nostalgic. It has a lot of significance to me in who I am. Even if I'm not singing country, I built my career off of country music, and country music's the reason I wanted to start even doing music. So it's who I am, really.
Awesome. I love that. Well, let's get to some more of your music. So the next song you have for us is called Over You. So what's the story behind that song?
I how do I describe this one? So Over You is we wrote it. Nolan had a piece of the song already, and it was the I know what you're thinking, I'm downtown drinking alone. And I was like, oh, I love that, just because I'm kind of wild and I like any song where a female is being wild. But we twisted it. And so we kind of, from the beginning of the verse, talked about what he thought I was doing. Because guys always think you're like sobbing in your bed, eating chocolate after a breakup. Like you're just completely distraught over them. And I wanted to be like, no, like I'm probably downtown getting with somebody else, and that's on you. So it was my first song that I kind of really ventured into who I actually am. Like I'm wild and I'm rebellious and I love country music. But at that time, I also felt like I couldn't completely be myself in country music. Just because there's not a lot of females in country like, yeah, I'm getting under someone else to get over you. Ha ha ha. Like that's just not how it goes. So that song's super special to me lyric wise, because I finally got to kind of put my angst into it and who I actually am. And some people loved it, and some people were like, whoa, Bailey, what are you doing?
Well, I love that rebelliousness of yours, and I think that will really drive you forward, because it's that outlaw, like do what you want, because not everybody does. Exactly. Well, let's get to that song. So here is Over You. So you're part of the Jason Foundation, correct? And you're the first National Youth Advocate. So could you tell us a little bit about that and what it's all about?
Yeah, so the Jason Foundation is an organization based outside of Hendersonville, Tennessee. The founder, Clark Flatt, started it because he lost his son, Jason, at the age of 18 to suicide. And so I actually joined before my brother had ever passed. And it's weird how our stories became so similar, but I joined because I saw the way my brother had struggled. At that time, I wasn't having my own mental health struggles, so I didn't really understand the significance of what it actually was. But I thought it was super cool that I was like on a roster with Charlie Daniels and Rascal Flatts, and I wanted to help my brother any way I could. But after he passed, it became even more important to me that I was there. And then I started dealing with my own mental health issues, and I really, I'm just so happy to be there. I put out a song called I Won't Be Silent, and that was part of the foundation. I got to sing the national anthem for the late and great Charlie Daniels before he passed. So I've done some really cool things with them, and I appreciate them very much for having me.
Awesome. I love that. And again, I love how it's a great way to help people, and you're kind of doing your own thing with it with your Finally Free movement, and you have this as well. Do you have any like tips for people who are struggling with mental health? Like any things that they can do to help improve it, or anything that you've done?
I think my first tip would be to reach out to someone. You can't battle your own thoughts alone, and just somebody you trust, a parent, a guardian, a friend, a therapist, a counselor. And I mean, I think a lot of people don't reach out because there's this stigma around mental health, and that if you have struggles like that, you're going to be deemed as like crazy or just like less than. So my first tip is reach out. You're definitely not crazy. You're a human going through human experiences, and reach out.
Yeah,
that's my first tip.
Awesome. Yeah, great tip. So does the foundation do anything like to help with reach out stuff? Like, could people go to the foundation for reach out?
You can go to jasonfoundation.org. My website has resources too. But definitely the Jason Foundation has a lot of resources on their website.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the show description as well, so people can just hit the link.
Thank you.
So let's get back to some more music. The next song you have for us is Traveling Kind by Ashlyn Craft. So why did you pick this song?
I picked the song because I love her. First, I like her song. What's it called? I Smoke Weed. Like that song. I love that song. It's so catchy, and I heard it off TikTok. She's rad, and she's just doing something that other females aren't doing in country music right now, which I really appreciate. She's got this kind of raspy, smoky, like barroom tone to her, and she just does her own thing, and I appreciate the authenticness of it.
Yeah, she's really cool. She was on The Voice, right?
Was she?
I think so.
I don't know.
That she was on The Voice.
The first time I saw her was with that weed song that went viral on TikTok, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with her.
Well, don't quote me on The Voice thing, but I'm pretty sure she was in the top 10 because I was going through the bio. But anyway, so here is Traveling Kind by Ashlyn Craft. So music isn't always the easiest of career paths. So what motivates you to keep working towards your dreams?
Well, sometimes I'm not motivated.
Yeah,
sometimes I don't like to tell people I'm on all the time because I'm definitely not. What motivates me is when I get people who DM me and tell me their stories and how my music has helped them. I've had people contact me and be like, I listened to your music when I was in a mental facility, or I listened to your music when I was going through a divorce, or something like that. And music moves people. And so what keeps me going is the people who reach out to me and tell me, like, you have to keep going and you have to keep doing this. If I didn't have them, then there would be no reason. I mean, I do it for other people. Music is a healing thing.
Oh, I love that. And kind of going a little bit farther with that, like, what's one lesson you've learned so far in your music career?
One lesson I've learned is to do what you want. I think so many times artists come to, especially Nashville, and you meet people in the industry and they say, you have to do this, and you have to be this, and you have to sing this, which is great. And that's grand if you want to be like everyone else. But if you really want to be a true artist and stand out, I think do what you want and find out who you are. Because if you find out who you are, then you're already 50% of the way there and a lot farther than most artists.
Yeah, definitely. So. Yeah, that's a great lesson. Yeah. What was I going to say? Was there anything like you've done to help sort of figure out who you are and kind of stand on your own like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have made all kinds of different genres of music. I have dabbled in everything. During quarantine, I was releasing songs like they were freaking gifts. Like it was just like boom, 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 boom. I released a song that had doo-wop influences, and then I released a song that was completely rock and then country. And people were like, wow, this is like a lot. You're really exploring. And I was exploring. And I think exploring different styles of music, write different styles of music, listen to different styles of music. If you only ever listen to one thing, that's what you're going to do. But that's where my musical style really changes. When I started listening to artists like Amy Winehouse and Nirvana and just great, amazing songwriters that weren't exactly country, I was like, oh wait, I like this. I can do something with this.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Amy Winehouse influence because I can kind of hear
it in your music. It's definitely there. It's there in the way. I went through a phase where like I even dressed pinup because I just like loved her so much. But yeah, the Wings eyeliner, that's influenced by her. Just the emotional kind of angsty heartbreak songs, she's influenced a lot of the way I write, because when I started listening to her music, I was like, she says whatever she wants, and I love that, so I started doing it.
Awesome. Well, she's so great, and such like a sad life, really. If you
know, I watched the documentary, and I was just like, and I think it's even more important, like mental health with artists. The Foo Fighters drummer just passed, and I think like you see things like that, and it's even more important that you talk about mental health so that doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So we'll get to some more music. The next song you have for us is your song called Swore It Was Over. So what's the story behind this song?
I wrote this song about the guy from Finally Free too. Which it's crazy to think about it because like I wrote so many songs about him and now like I care about him, but I'm also like, you're a stranger in my life.
Yeah.
I wrote this, I think it was like 4 months after we had broken up, and I kind of saw that he was getting with somebody new, and I was completely over it. Almost had a new boyfriend at that point, and then I saw that he was like with this other girl, and I just felt so betrayed. I felt so pissed off, and it just spilled out of me. And it's still one of my favorite songs because it has that soulful, bluesy like chords and progression, and that's how I felt at that moment. And eventually I sent it to him and he liked it. So
Awesome. Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites of yours. It's really kind of spacey and open, and yeah, that soulfulness really.
I go off in the lyrics a little bit.
I like that. So here is Swore It Was Over. So the next part is 5 quick questions. It's just for fun, whatever comes to the top of your mind first. You do the hard-hitting questions, as I like to say. So the first one is, what is your favorite snack food?
My favorite snack food, goldfish.
That's a good one. I haven't had those since I was like a little kid.
I eat like a child. Most people don't know it, but I literally do eat like a child.
Yeah. Awesome. One place you'd love to travel to?
New Orleans.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Cats or dogs?
Cats. I'm a cat lady. I have a cat named Biggie Smalls.
Awesome. Is he fat? That sounds like a fat cat.
He's starting to get fat. He's just like, he has such a big personality. We named him Mr. Big, and then it went to Biggie Smalls because he has like this gangster personality. Like he'll mess you up for no reason. Me and him will be chilling, and then he'll just like bite me, and I'm like, okay, thank you.
Cats for you. I'm a cat person too. So, favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Ooh, I'm not sure. Let me think. But I've been watching Good Girls, and it's about like these moms who become like mob. I don't know. They like rob grocery stores.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite TV show at the moment.
Nice. That was a good one. And where can people find you?
People can find me everywhere at Bailey James Gang, and my website is baileyjames.com.
Awesome. And again, I'll have all that linked in the show description, so you don't have to search for it. And you also have a song coming out called The Crow on April 13th, I believe.
Yes.
So be sure to check that out. And yeah, awesome. So the last song you have for us is Irene by Ian No. What made you pick this song?
So I was thinking about some of my favorite country songs, and this one I used to play all the time. I just love his wittiness in the lyrics, and it kind of sounds like it has like this weird Elton John influence. It's like and I don't know, I just love Irene. It makes me feel good when I'm in the car, even though it's a really sad song. It's like a happy beat, and so I just kind of bop to it.
Cool. Well, before we get to that, thanks so much for coming on. It was great talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thanks so much for listening, and be sure to come back next week for more country music.